Hello everyone out here in Facebook land, my stampers and my what the heck is she doing people that just popped in to see what I'm doing. Today we're going to try to make a card together, even though we're not together. So trying to help with some of the isolation anxiety for everybody, including me, I guess. So as we're starting here, I wanted to promote one of the other things that Russ and I do, my husband. We do a little thing called Friday night stamping, and we took a couple of months off because back in February we moved to Bloomington, Illinois. So as we were trying to get everything settled in the house and I was looking for work, hey Paula, we kind of put a pause on the Friday night stamping. So I'm glad the last few weeks we've gotten back into that. So I wanted to let everybody know that there is another post on my page after you get out of the video. If you want to scroll down, you can check out for these two cards that will be on my page. You'll see the pictures and you get to vote. And today is Sunday, April 19th. If you're watching live, voting is actually open till 9 p.m. Central tonight. So it's really easy to do. You go on, you look at the cards, you decide which one you like better, and you comment either flowers or beach. Hey, Linda, thanks for stopping in. So that's something to watch for, and I will talk about that again at the end of the video. So you'll want to vote on our Friday night stamping, and it gets kind of fun and competitive in the house. It's a friendly little rivalry we have going. So so that's something fun. As for today, this mystery stamping is something that another demonstrator on one of our private groups that we have just for demonstrators, she had shared that she's been doing this mystery stamping. And it sounded like a pretty fun idea because I've been trying to figure out how to get together to stamp with all you people when we can't actually be together. So this will be one of the ways. So let me know if I'm talking too fast or anything like that while we're going. I am trying to watch the comments as we go. And then, so what we're going to do, I had sent out all the measurements already that you needed, and I will kind of be going slowly through which pieces we're using, so you don't have to worry about that. But what we're going to do is, you know what, first, can you tell this is my first time? So we're just going to do things real informally. So what I told you all to gather was 2 pieces of neutral cardstock. One of them is going to be your card base. So this is an 8.5 inch long by 5.5 wide. I scored it right down the middle at 4 1/4. So if you want to go ahead and fold your card base, give it a good crease so it stays closed. So you can set that aside for a minute. The other neutral piece that you have, and I'm using Whisper White, is 4 3/8 by 2 1/8. And if at any point I get ahead of you or anything like that and you're freaking out, shoot me a comment, or you can always go back and watch the replay of this video because it'll still be up, so you don't have to miss anything. Then we have 2 other colors of cardstock that I asked you to get ready. I'm using Pool Party and Basic Black. So the one layer of my Pool Party, which is going to be our first color, is 5 1/4 by 4. The other piece is a 4 3/4 by 2 1/2. Hey Penny, thanks for stopping in. Can't wait to see what you make with this. So that's Pool Party that I'm using for that first color. The second color that I'm using is Basic Black. And the cool thing about this is everybody's cards are going to look different because it depends on what colors you pulled. It depends on, you know, what stamps you're using that you have on hand. So it's going to be a really fun experiment. So this Basic Black that I happen to be using, so your second color, you're going to have a layer that's going to be 5 by 2 3/4. And you'll have another one of your second color that will be 4.5 by 2 1/4. And the only other piece of paper you're going to have is a designer series paper or pattern paper. This is out of our Poppies paper, and I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me at the moment. So, but it's a fabulous set of designer paper. So, and this one is just 4 inches by 2 inches. So that's all of your paper. You're very welcome, Penny. I'm glad I could do this too. That's what I was saying. I really wanted to just stamp with people again, and it's kind of hard. I stamp with Stamper Man all the time, but nobody else right now. So I'm going to stamp right along with you today. We might not always do it this way. Sometimes I might say, hey, do this step, and I might not show you what I'm doing. So we'll see. If at any time during the video you're like, I really love that thing, I need to order it, my ordering website is right up here, so you can refer to that anytime. Peaceful Poppies designer paper. Thanks, Paula. I had a feeling you'd shout that out for me. So first, we're going to get started here. And clue number 1 for your mystery stamping is you are going to take your designer paper. So remember that was 4 inches by 2 inches. And you're going to attach it to the biggest piece of your first color. So that's the 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece. So I'm just using my good old snail. You can use whatever adhesive you like. So I'm just going to pop that about 1 inch from the bottom. And we're very loosey-goosey here, so don't worry if it's exactly 1 inch from the bottom. Just leave a little room at the bottom so you can see that color. Okay. I will leave that right there for a minute. Let's see. So if you're stamping with me, give me a done in the comments when you finish that first step. The steps will get a little harder as we go, obviously, once we start stamping. But yeah, I really love this Peaceful Poppies. Hey, Lynn, thanks for stopping in. I love this Peaceful Poppies paper. It's just so vibrant. I made some really cool gift bags right after Christmas for some people I had gifts for, and I didn't have bags that weren't Christmas, so I thought, oh, I could make it out of that, and it turns out really, really pretty. Okay, so we've got our first little layer there. That's clue number 1. So moving on to clue number 2, we are going to take this piece that we just did and we're going to attach it to our card base. And we're going to do a tall card, a portrait card. So we want it to be up and down with the opening on the right side. So I'm just going to flip that over and put some adhesive on. And we're just going to attach that. So we've got, I'm using a white card base, so I'll have a little white rim all the way around. And then we'll set that aside. Alrighty, so hey, it looks like a good day out here today, at least where I am. It's sunny and it's like low 70s. So I don't know what it's like back up north for you guys today. Hopefully you've got some good weather too. I know I got really tired of the snow earlier this week. All right, are we ready to move on? Now we're going to get a little more complicated because we're going to start stamping. So next you're going to take the smallest of your neutral images, cardstock. So that's your 4 3/8 by 2 1/8. I'm going to move those instructions off to the side just a little bit, trying to make sure you guys can still see everything as I'm going. And we're going to stamp our images. So I am using our Painted Poppies stamp set. This was actually one that we got free at an event. I believe the Stamper Man won this one. Hi, Cindy. Thanks for stopping by. So yeah, this set is absolutely gorgeous. You really can't mess anything up with it, quite frankly. And there is a set of peaceful moments, greetings that'll go along with it. So I am not using that one today, but I'm just using a couple of the poppies from this set. I am going to use our Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I'm not going to watercolor or marker or anything like that, but I really like this black for a good crisp black. I should put that over there. So I'm going to take the larger of the flowers for me, and I'm just going to stamp that a little off the right hand side. I'm going to take the smaller flower and just stamp it kind of above it. There's no science to this. Like I said, everybody's cards are going to look a little bit different, which is a lot of fun. So we'll kind of see how everybody interpreted the instructions and what kind of things everybody gravitates towards. We might see a lot of pastel cards. We might see some monochromatic. We might see some really bright, colorful cards. Now I'm using this little fill-in piece. It's just a blob, which is really fun if you want to do backgrounds, or you could make Muppet faces, probably all sorts of things. But I'm using our Poppy Parade ink. And I'm just going to ink that up and kind of quote unquote color the poppies with it. And that's a really nice way to give the poppies some color without having to go through and color them with markers or try to watercolor. If you really don't feel like you're that artistic, this is one of those kinds of stamp sets where it just, you know, just stamp, stamp, boom, you've got your color all filled in. And it's very artistic looking because it's not meant to fit exactly inside those lines. Now the other stamp set I'm using today for the greeting, because then you'll stamp the greeting on it, is our Butterfly Gala. And mostly just because I love the font on this and this a little note. This is just a great, I use that particular stamp a lot just because it's a great generic card you can send to anybody. So if it doesn't happen to be for a birthday and you don't, you just want to write a little note, it's perfect. And on this, I'm just, because our photopolymer stamps don't have the foam on them, don't have the cushion, I just use one of our Stampin' Pierce mats with a little bit of paper over it, just in case I miss. And I'm going to go back to my Memento black ink. And I will just ink that up. The nice part about the photopolymers you can see is you can see right through it, so I can see exactly where I'm going with that. I just want it below my image a little bit. If your image isn't too busy, you can stamp your greeting right over the top of it. So if you've got kind of an image that's just one color and you'd be able to read, if you stamped maybe black over it, you can just go right over that. And that's all the stamping we're actually going to do. So I will hold on there for a minute again so everybody can catch up. You probably noticed, some of you, when I was talking about those stamp sets, that the two that I happen to have are what we call two-step stamping. And that simply means that there's like an outline image and then there's a filler image, so you can stamp them twice. The butterfly one as well. We have these butterflies, and then we have the insides of the wings. So if you maybe wanted the top wings to be a different color than the bottom wings, these are separate, so you can actually ink them up separately. There's actually a punch that goes along with this. These butterfly sets, the large and the small, are all together on a stamp. And so the punch will line up with that, and you can punch them all out and have butterflies all over the place, which is nice. I love something that has a punch, because it makes your stamping just a little bit, adds a little zhuzh, and it's easy to do. Okay, so hopefully all of you are done stamping your image. And what we're going to do now, clue number 4, we are going to add our stamped image to the smallest of your second color. So this will be the 4.5 by 2 1/4 layer. So again, I'm just using my snail, put a little bit on the back of my stamped piece. And then I'm just going to center that on there. And please remember when you're centering things. So first, let me step away for just a sec. If you are kind of a little OCD about centering things and you want a little more time to work with it, you can always use our multi-liquid glue. So if you were to put that, it looks kind of like an Elmer's glue. It's like a white glue. So if you put that on the back, you would actually be able to put that on and be able to move it around a little bit until you got those edges just how you wanted. So a lot of our demonstrators work with that. I've actually been working with it a lot more lately. I just felt like with this being my first Facebook Live, I think I would just be more comfortable with my snail, and I didn't want anything glopping all over on me. So that was for me. So you're gonna, once you have that piece adhered, you're just gonna set it aside for just a moment. And clue number 5, we're gonna take those other 2 pieces that we have left. So the bigger the 4 3/4 by 2 1/2, and your 5 by 2 3/4, and we just want to layer those. So I'm going to take that smaller one, put it on top. And you'll notice this one has a little bit bigger of a border around the whole thing than the last. I'll show you, than the stamped image. You'll see this one has a skinnier border on it. We do that a lot of times just for some interest, because if you're having everything having the exact same border, it kind of starts to look same. So a lot of times if I have a lot of layers, I might make one skinnier or one wider. You put things off to the side instead of front and center. It just adds a little bit visual interest. So when you are trying to figure out layers, because some of you might, be new to that and trying to figure out, I don't know how to cut things. So whatever your size is, so let's say we're talking about these 2. We've got the black one here for me is 5 inches by 2 3/4 inches. So for this border all the way around, I just subtracted 1/4 inch from each of those measurements. So you'll notice from 5, I went down to 4 3/4 for this. And from 2 3/4, I went down to 2 1/2. And that gives you a 1/8 inch border all the way around. For this one, I subtracted 1/8 of an inch. So it actually gives you, I guess, what works out to a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. The 1/4 inch deduction is kind of the normal in card making. So you'll see that a lot. That was from our base to our first layer. I did a 1/4 inch on that one as well. So you'll have that one all put together, and we'll move on to clue number 6. You're going to take those 2 skinny layers that we just did, and you're going to attach them. These are going to be centered, unless of course you want to make yours different. That's fine too. I always tell anybody at my classes that you can do whatever you want with the supplies I gave you. So you have your own supplies today, you certainly can do whatever you want. So that's how that's going to look, and you'll notice that bigger border. So you've got that 1/4 inch difference here, you've got a 1/4 inch difference here, and then just that skinny 1/8 of an inch difference in that final layer. And you'll see it gives it a little bit of visual interest. Especially I've noticed when you have a really dark cardstock like a black or our really deep brown, our early espresso, it's really nice to get that skinny layer right behind your stamped image, because it's kind of like a mat on a picture. It just kind of sets it off a little bit, but it doesn't overwhelm it. So there you go. You'll put those 2 together. And now the last thing. Now I actually did not tell you to get Stampin' dimensionals out. So if you don't have those with you, you can just ignore that. I'm going to use them because I happen to have them. You're going to take your card base, you're going to take the layers you just assembled, and you can either flip that over and just put adhesive on the back and stick it right to your card, or you can put some dimensionals on. And I grabbed the smaller dimensionals, so I'll have to use a few extra. One thing I will tell you, one of my favorite sayings that another demonstrator says is, dimensionals are cheap and I am not. So don't be afraid to use more than you think you need. It's not a big deal. In fact, since these are small, I'm going to put a row down the middle as well. And all this does is really help to keep the entire thing popped up a little bit so it doesn't sink. So you might be able to see, they're just little foam dots. So they just kind of pop everything up a little bit and add dimension, which is why they're called dimensionals, I'm betting. So just pop the backs off. And if any of you use these and have trouble popping the backs off of your dimensionals, you can take your nail, even if you don't have much of a nail, and if you press it in the middle, it kind of pops the edges up. You can do that, or you can use a paper piercer or a pokey tool, as we call it. You can also get it off with those. So I'm going to take all those off. And now when I put this on, I'm just going to put it over the left a little bit so I can see kind of the cardstock top and bottom. I want to be able to see the designer paper on each side. And with that, mystery solved. There is our finished card. So hopefully you enjoyed stamping along with me. What I'd like you all to do, if you finished your card while we were on the video together, great. Just snap a quick picture and post it in the comments of this video because I'd love to see how yours came out. If you haven't finished it, like I said, once I'm done, you can go back and watch the replay and just take your time and do it at your pace. If you have trouble uploading it, thanks, Cindy. If you have trouble uploading your card, you can text it to me, you can Facebook message it to me, you can email it to me, and I'll load it on the comments if you want. Yeah, so I love that everybody's card is going to be different. Thanks, Linda. Oh, thanks, Penny. I really, really love this Poppy suite, so it's pretty easy to get a nice looking card out of it. Yeah, so I can't wait to see what you all did. And once again, I want to remind you all to scroll down on my Facebook page to the Friday Night Stampin' post. If you have not already voted, please vote for flowers or beach. That's till 9 p.m. tonight, Sunday. And thanks a lot for stopping in. Hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.